up, everybody? You're watching another episode of Strategic Moves. I'm your host, Ken Dow, and today we're going to talk about health, especially men's health, African-American health at that. And I have one of my good friends. Not only he's a good friend of mine, but he's also my physician. Been my physician for quite some time now, maybe over, gotta be, my daughter is 21. And so you were seeing, you knew me when I ain't had no kids. I just thought about it. Wow. So it's been quite a while since we've been dealing. Not only has you been a physician, but you also been a friend. Your family been friends of mine for years. Your brother Barry and Stacy. Barry, I worked for him over at Cleveland Screen Printing, and Stacy helped me through some tough times going through school and trying to get my education together, not to mention many parties at your house. So you've been somebody around that's been there and been looking out for me for quite a while. And so I wanted to bring you on this show to introduce you to everybody and tell them about the journey and how me and you met, as well as some of the stuff we went through. So great. Everybody want to introduce Dr. Gray.
Thank you, Ken. It's great to be here. I appreciate you having me. I'm looking forward to the discussion. It's been 20 years. I was trying to figure it out myself.
Yes,
it's been a long time,
a very long time.
But it's been great seeing everyone's going to do their path and do their.
Yeah, I was talking to Dorinda, and I was telling her that your father was also my dentist. So I was like, when I first started off, I think before I met you, I had a toothache, and I think Randy said, go see Dr. Hall. That was everybody thinking, go see Dr. Hall. And I went to see your father on Chester, and he was my dentist. He helped me out and pulled some teeth for me back then. And then you became a doctor. I remember that. And they was like, hey, Greg's a doctor. So, that kind of thing. So, but before I get into that, tell me a little bit about who you are, where you grew up, and give us some background. I know you're from Glenville. Give us some background.
Absolutely.
We got time. I want everybody to get to know who you really are.
No, I appreciate it. Now, I grew up in, Glenville, inner city, 88th and St. Clair. We lived on East Boulevard, right where Cultural Gardens were. Mm-hmm. And we had one of the bigger houses because my father, like you say, was a dentist. Mm-hmm. And so I can't say I grew up poor, but we grew up in the urban area. It was a city. It was definitely the inner city.
Correct.
But it was great. Had a lot of family, extended family.
Brothers and sisters.
There were 5 of us, youngest of 5. You remember Billy and Stacy and brother Barry, who's passed on.
Right. Very well. Everybody remembers.
Yeah, everybody knew Barry. He's got kids, and then their kids have his personality. So
exactly.
It's like everybody knows him. You can get you.
Exactly. Barry was the real doctor.
He was, and funny, the funniest guy ever.
Exactly.
But I always wanted to be a doctor, and I ended up going to medical school in Toledo.
Okay.
And then did my residency at Cleveland Clinic, and ended up going into private practice after St. Luke's closed at around 2001 or so.
Yeah, I think that's when I first met you. You were over at St. Luke's, because my very first surgery I had, it was back over there at St. Luke's. So yeah, that was back.
Yeah,
then.
so that was before it closed in 99.
Yeah.
So then been in private practice for 20 years, and then it just started beginning of December at University Hospital, and they are establishing this Cutler Center for Men, Cutler Men's Center.
Okay.
And that's where we're really concentrating on the disparities between how long men and women live, just in general. And men aren't doing well as far as their health. I spent most of my career talking about minority health and health disparities and African Americans, but in general, men also aren't doing well. And so it's just a shift.
Men as a whole,
they don't like to go to the doctor. They don't like confronting problems that they have. There's some that do, but by and large, it's a macho thing. And so going to the doctor and getting screened. And so it's watching my father made me more proactive, because he was the typical man. My blood pressure is high. If it'll kill me, I'll die. Ain't no big deal dying. But when he had a stroke, he didn't die. Then it was a problem. Oh, now I can't lift this. I can't do that. Now my speech is slurred. Now it's a problem. So as they ended up having open heart surgery, he smoked. And when he had open heart surgery, he had to stop smoking. But there was no talking to him into stopping smoking before open heart surgery. Right?
Exactly.
So I just have been really more proactive, because when people say, oh, you look like your daddy, you remind me of your daddy. So I was like, well, I can have a stroke just like my daddy, and a heart attack just like my daddy, and open heart surgery. I'm not trying to do all that.
Correct.
I'm on blood pressure medicine that I take every day, and I've got a pill dispenser. And so I'm trying to do those things differently from I've had a colonoscopy. Whatever I'm supposed to be doing, I'm going to do. And I'm trying to set an example, because a lot of my patients just, they want, well, did you do it? Like the vaccine, did you do it?
Exactly.
Don't tell me anything. What did you do?
Are you still over off of, what's that, Lyndhurst?
Richmond Heights.
Richmond Heights.
We moved. We were on Highland and Richmond.
Right. That's
moved around from Richmond and to Chardon, right across from Richmond Hospital.
Okay.
Offices in there. It's right on the third floor. Richmond.
Sure. I haven't been there since you had moved.
Yeah. 27155 Chardon Road. That's where we are.
That's where you are. Now, in your practice there, we'll talk a little bit about that before we move on to the other stuff. Is that you also do tattoo removal?
No, stopped that years ago.
Stopped it. So tell me, what was that all about? Because I remember going there. And that was
there were a lot of people that regretted their tattoos that they'd gotten early in life. And a lot of them got them in urban areas where they really wasn't a whole lot of professional artists, and people would get them as teens. And then later in life, they really couldn't afford the tattoo removal that was available because it was really designed to really take your money. And there were people who really felt bad about some of the decisions that they had made tattoo wise. And so I bought a machine and said, we'll do them at prices that people can afford. I ended up getting a contract with the state doing juvenile tattoo removal, for people. And they paid to have teardrops and swastikas and all kinds of things that angry teens had put on. And so it was an opportunity to give back, and it paid for the laser. But when the laser broke, I was like, oh, I'm done doing this.
Oh, so what is it, painful though?
Yeah, it hurts like a tattoo. It's no more painful than getting a tattoo, but it's not fun. You know what I'm saying? It's not, but getting a tattoo is not fun either. It's not any pain that anyone hasn't already felt. I imagine there's people who go to get a tattoo and say, oh no, I can't do this. And those people don't end up having to get their tattoos removed. You know what I mean? But it's when you hit the first time, they jump, but once they know how it feels, they sit there. I've had, I'm trying to think if I've had anyone who just said, no, stop it, forget it. I can't do it.
Like you say, if they can put a tattoo on them.
So it's no more painful than getting a tattoo.
All right, I understand. And so we'll go back into this men's health, and I want to tell you a story that I just don't know if you knew, but I'm going to tell you how it happened to me. I had an appointment to come see you like I normally do. And your old office, I tell everybody, this is my fat boy story. I call it my fat boy story because everybody had one. My meal of choice used to be McDonald's. Fish fillet sandwich, large fry, and that large tea. Shit you stick to your hands, the tea you get over there. It used to be right across the street from your place. So I remember, the one thing I remember used to go into the doctor's, every time I used to go to your place, I'd be like, when I leave here, I always go to this damn McDonald's right across the street.
That's supposed to happen.
It's supposed to happen, but that's what I did. And so I ended up going there and said, no, I'm going to go after this time. I leave and go in because I had to run in here and take care of this. So I go in. Normally you say, Robin, go in, check his weight. I go check the weight. I looked at the scale. It said 398. I said, damn. And just kept walking. Went ahead, got in the office, came in eventually. Because everybody know. You got in there. When you came in, you said, damn, man, do you know you almost 400 pounds? And I said, yeah, I think that's what the scale said. I said, yeah. And you said to me, you said, man, you just a few pounds away from having a heart attack. And I said, yeah. And you said, no, man, when you have a heart attack, you're going to have a serious one and you're going to die and you're going to leave your whole family behind. Exactly what you said to me. And I looked at you and I said, okay. And then you said, you know what? I bet you got diabetes too. I said, well, I ain't got no diabetes. And you said, I bet you do. You called Robin in and you said, hey, stick his finger, go ahead, test him. Well, here goes that shit. I said, here we go. And then I said, okay. And he said, I bet you got it. I said, I ain't got that shit. That's what I said. I said, I ain't got that shit. That's what I said. And then you went ahead and Robin tested, didn't have it. It came in normal. I said, see, told you I ain't have it, blah, blah, blah. Left out. About a week later, I was at work and I started just noticing, damn, I keep drinking all this damn water. Then I kept using the bathroom, going regular, I keep going to the damn bathroom. So I called my wife and I said, you know what? Keep drinking this water and I keep running to the bathroom. She said, you got it. Because I told her what you said. I said, Greg think I got sugar. I said, I ain't got no damn sugar. I ain't got that shit. That's what I kept saying. I ain't got that shit. And she was like, oh, yeah, no, you got it. And I said, she said, I think you got it. That's the symptom. So now I'm online reading it damn, I think I got this stuff. So I call you back, make an appointment, come in, tell you the same thing. You said, I told you. You was going to have it, blah, blah, blah. You need to do something about your weight. That's what you said. And I said, I was thinking about taking weight loss surgery. And you said, you need to do something. And I said, wow, okay, so I got to do something. So I took the weight loss surgery, like you said. I lost 168 pounds. Now, before then, I was coming to you. I was on high blood pressure. I was on the metformin. Then I was taking another pill that I had to take with the metformin because the metformin was killing my kidneys or some other shit it was doing. And you got to take this in order to do that. I was taking that. I was high blood pressure. It was about 4 or 5 pills I was taking and during that process. And during that, I did lose the weight, went through the process of losing weight. And it was the best thing I ever did. And I wanted to thank you for that, but also let everybody know that it was that process and having that, going through that, was something that changed. And that's where you were saying the high blood pressure that we have and most African Americans and everything else is a result from that. Now, the surgery was one part, exercise is the other part of that, because just having the surgery doesn't do it. You got to exercise and that. I was a lot better at doing all the exercise when I was right there at it, getting older. And now it's sort of, it just don't feel as good as it felt before when I was doing it, but right. Kind of there. And well, so I want to talk to you about that.
Yeah, it's your patients don't know how we struggle with different approaches. Every approach doesn't work on everybody. And so I'll try, if you use stopping smoking, people who smoke, I use the scare tactic, which usually doesn't work. And then I start talking about what it's doing and what things it might be doing that people aren't thinking about. If you think about your weight, okay, I'm big, it's hard for me to get around, but you don't think about all the things that go along with that, you know, and that's what I try to bring to the front. You've got all these issues, but you know what the real problem is? It's your weight. You know, I mean, if you want to know what the real problem is, and then what are we going to do about that? Because until we do that, and as you saw, after you took care of the weight, the pills started dropping off. Then you didn't have, your diabetes wasn't bad. You didn't have that. Your blood pressure came down. All those things came down. Some people can't bring them down. My blood pressure won't come down unless I take medicine. So I just take it, and I'm not pushing against that.
Yeah, and it got to be, because I see guys a lot smaller than me and others who still got diabetes and got everything else. And so it's not that. And I say that all the time, but it helps.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
It definitely helps.
For you, it definitely was a key. But I don't remember saying that, but people always come and tell me, you remember you said?
Yeah. I mean,
no, I don't remember.
But you was rolling because you got clients coming in and stuff. And I would say our relationship a little different than others. So it's more, this Dave, that's what y'all, right. Dave sitting in here. So brother, why you 400 pounds? So what's wrong with that? And you need to get your act together.
But I tell people that, you know, there are people that watch, you know, my 600 pound, my 800 pound life or whatever. And I'll never do that. But those people, they all weighed 250 at one point.
Yeah.
They all weighed 310 at one point. They all weighed 390. It's just
that.
When does it happen? And people look at me with a crazy look on it when I say, you can do that. And they're like, there's no way I would do that. Well, show me. You know, every time you come see me, you're 20 pounds heavier.
Exactly.
I haven't seen anything that would suggest that you couldn't do that.
You know, and I tell people all the time, you got to pick your thing. And like you say, you never know what affects people when they hear what, you know, like you say, is, did he hear me or they just were going back out to do? Because after I left there, I didn't go get that.
You didn't go to McDonald's?
I didn't go to McDonald's, but I didn't back to McDonald's. So I didn't go. But I tell you this, since the surgery, I haven't ate McDonald's in that regard. I refuse to eat any fish fillets or any of that. I'm like, that's like my food crack. I'm like, I go back to that, I'll just go crazy again. But that's in my mind mentally. But I wanted to say that and talk to you because I think one of the things I told my wife and others is, man, y'all sat there and watched me gain 500 pounds and didn't say anything. And sometimes look at that and say, oh, we didn't want to hurt your feelings. But it's almost like you sit there and you watching a person kill themselves. You can, and honestly, and I look at it in that regards because and everybody grow old together. We all get big together and everything. But I looked at a picture is what it was. And when I looked at the picture and I said, look at this picture. And I said, so you're going to tell me that, come on, y'all didn't think I was like getting out of hand?
But they're not in a position to do that. There are people that watch. Look, my oldest brother smoked. I can't get on him about smoking every time I see him smoke. He's gonna visit me. He gonna stop visiting me. I can't be his doctor. I just have to be his little brother. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's little brother.
And he did stop smoking incidentally, but it was like, it's not my job to do that. But guess what? When you come and see me as your doctor, that is my job. And I had a lady, I told her, I said, you're obese. And I was like using the definition of like a BMI above 30. Actually, yeah, it makes you obese. Actually, you're overweight until it gets to 30, then you're obese. And she was insulted and she left. But I didn't know. You don't know when someone leaves you as a doctor. You just, because a lot of people you don't see for 2-3 years, then they pop up. And they just didn't need you. But she came back 2-3 years later and said, I left you. And she was 150 pounds lighter. But apparently I had insulted her by saying she was obese, which she was. And she went to Weight Watchers and became a vegetarian and lost all that and then loved me. Now I'm willing
to bet you at some point, when she decided to make those moves to decide the Weight Watchers and everything else, the thing in the back of her mind was the conversation that she had with you.
It was.
And even though she might have been mad and said, I ain't going and I'm quitting, but in her mind, I'm doing this because he said I was obese. And so I say that.
No one else said you, and no one else. No one else had ever.
That's what I'm saying.
No one else said anything. Right. But the mirrors were still there.
Well, you see the mirrors, you bought the mirrors. I mean, the mirror. As a matter of fact, when we first bought our house, up in our first, in our master suite, this dude was vanity. He had mirrors all over the place. Mirrors everywhere he turned around. It was mirrors in there. And so it's not the mirror.
Right.
Sometimes it's the tough love. And again, I agree. You can't pound nobody with it. Every time you see him, you can't tell him this wrong. But at some point, somebody has to say something to you that sinks in, whether it's food, whether it's drugs, whether it's whatever it is, that makes you feel like you're going to that turning point in your life. Everybody's had that. I had it, whether it was this or that throughout my life. And just so happened you were the doctor at that time who said something to me that made me think about it and say, you know what, I really need to do something.
Right. And someone else might have said it and you wouldn't have taken it right.
I wouldn't take it. No, listen, I was called fat boy all my life growing up. So it wasn't that. I was immune to that and tuned that out to the point that I gained 400 pounds.
Right.
And even at 400 pounds, still walking around, everybody telling me I'm cool, I'm still doing that thing. But I was 400 pounds, you know?
But you were cool.
Yeah,
you sound like the time. But I think you have to be receptive. I think that's why I don't give up on talking to people about it. It's like you would, a lot of people would say, I talk until I'm blue in the face, so I'm done talking about it. Well, you can't really take that attitude. You have to just keep pushing, because I know there may be a time, there's a window period where someone's going to be receptive to what I say for whatever reasons going on in their lives. And that's the time, if I don't talk about stopping smoking, or I don't talk about you really need to take your medicine, or you really need to get a screen for colon cancer. There was a guy who we grew up with who didn't get a colonoscopy and went to have some surgery, and they found a colon cancer.
This is Strategic Moves with Ken Dow.